Welcome to Critical Café,
Join us as we chat about the latest episode,
the campaign as a whole, and Critical Role in general.
all while we partake in a delicious cup of coffee. So grab yourself a tasty beverage
Settle into your favorite cozy spot.
and get ready for a little geek philosophy. Welcome to Geek Philosophy, where we love geeky wisdom, and welcome to the Critical Café. And my name's Brian, and joining me, as always, is lovely Crystal.
Hello.
Hello. It's been a little bit since we've done this version of the show. We did a Candela Obscura one recently, and that was released. But we have to catch up on a couple episodes tonight, so stick with us. We're going to definitely get into both of those episodes based on Danny Carr's critical recap to make sure that we don't miss anything. So, because it's been a while since we talked about it. Been a while.
Yeah.
We'll get a chance to go through everything that has happened in the last couple of shows in preparation for tomorrow's show. Normally we're on Thursday. This time it's completely my fault. We're on a Wednesday. I just scheduled it wrong. We had the hurricane stuff happening last week, threw off our schedule quite a bit, but we're back. We got caught up with everything. If you are joining us in the live stream, then make sure that you jump into the chat, say hi, and provide some of your questions or comments there, and we will bring those in. If you're watching the recording of this, you can definitely still comment, and we will catch those later on the video comments. So, just take part in the conversation. If there's any other things that you want to mention, Crystal, I'm thinking of things and I'm running short because my brain is going crazy.
No, we've had so much this past week with the storm and stuff. My brain is a little fried, so.
Yeah, mine too. Plenty of things happening on the channel that are swirling around in my. This is the. I don't remember how manyth time I've had to do something over the last couple of days. Saying had to, it's still what I love to do. It's just a lot of things going on. So you'll see some things getting released on the channel. The video just came out recently. Yesterday, I think we have an interview that should be coming out probably this week or next week. We'll see how that turns out. So we've got a few different things going on. If you want to support the channel, though, the best way to do that is subscribe. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of the stuff that pops up. Like when we go live, you'll get a notification, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you do that if you haven't been. Most of the people watching our videos are not subscribed, so please subscribe. It really does help out the channel. You can also get us a cup of coffee if you like. There's a link in the description below to buy us coffee. So, all right, let's jump over to the critical recap and get started. Enough of all of that. All right, like I said, Danny Carr does the critical role critical recaps. I'm going to scroll down 2 times because we're going to recap episode 69. Nice. All right, so grounding visits. So Belle's house split off to go enjoy Zephyra for a few hours. This was interesting. So Ashton alone has sort of a panic attack in which they see stone pebbles on the ground shift as they are breathing. And then he goes to Fanny Z's and picks up his new outfit. And he's got the Hishtari symbol and the other symbol Ashton has dreamed about. And he's trying to figure out who he wants to be. And sort of this outfit is sort of his way of moving in that direction, of finding out what he wants to be. And it's like a uniform, he feels like. Then we have Orem and Fern and FCG visit Orem's mother-in-law, Nell. And they get some advice about consulting wise friends for guidance instead of going to the gods and trusting experience. And then she joins them on a visit to Derek and Will's grave sites, which bear their breastplate and their sword. And Orem speaks to Derek, telling him that he does his best to emulate his father's good heart every day and thanking him for everything. Orem then speaks to Will, and his words are heartfelt and heartbroken as he tells his husband that he's doing this for him, but everything is so much bigger than him. He's scared, and he's going to try to make them proud. He misses them and loves them, and we'll see them soon. So Fern gently says, not too soon, man. Like, we want to keep you around. FCG tells Orem that they're lucky to be a part of the world and lucky to love Orem. And yeah, so the world is messy and beautiful, and they all have each other. So this was sort of the way we kick off, was one of the sort of introduction to that piece of contemplation with both Ashton and what was going on with Orem, really. Break for chat or keep going?
No, it was sad, but
Yeah.
heartfelt and good. It was just heart wrenching.
Yep. Danny kind of summed it up. It was that, and yeah, good point. It was sad and heart wrenching at the same time. Yeah. So to the skies. Meanwhile, on the other side of the spectrum here, Chetney and Laudna want to go sky sailing with Imogen in tow, and basically they convince this attendant there to give them sails, and so they call one Snappy Twig and Sunrise Sally, and then they start flying around Zephyra. And Laudna also tells Chetney that Imogen is her girlfriend. And Chetney and Laudna have this like dogfight in the air, and Imogen is flying alongside just on her own. And then they kind of go through the skies of Zephyra, and then they also hit a few roofs as they're doing that, and then landing amongst a bunch of chickens there. So Orem picks up his new leather armor, which is really cool, from Torth the blacksmith, and he learns that Keyleth waived the cost. He basically gave a gift to the Savior Blade, and they all go drinking, and they catch up as friends, and Chetney encourages FCG to get followers for his own machine uprising. Like, take things over. It was pretty funny. And the gods have been talking to most of them. Laudna and Ashton are more interested in pursuing the primordials. So, interesting. So let's head over to chat. If anybody has anything to pop in, please do. So yeah, what are we thinking so far with how things have, developed with that intro?
Oh my gosh, Chetney and Laudna have like scared the pants off of this guy who was the flight attendant guy, and he was flying with them, and pretty much end up revoking their ability to ever use their flyers, their gliders again because of what they were doing. They were out there just playing chicken almost. It was a really good, like, lighthearted moment for, like, I think they do a good job of balancing the super important, like, hard things with the fun, lighthearted, moments. And this was kind of one of them. They were being ridiculous. They're fighting each other in the air. They didn't care about whether they lived or they died. They were just going to have fun. So it was cute.
It was really cute. And I think that it was a good sort of juxtaposition of like getting some things out of their system, but also kind of, what was going on with Ashton and Orem, and just kind of coming to peace with things. So it was nice to have that sort of up and down break in what was going on.
And we have confirmation that they're girlfriends. Because we know they kissed, but is there a larger relationship? Have they had that talk yet? So
seems like if they haven't, then they're gonna, because someone's gonna say something.
Yeah.
So, all right. So they continue to drink and make merry while Laudna sneaks off to a cliff edge, and while she's meditating, she tries to reach out to Delilah. And she doesn't hear anything, but then Imogen comes to her eventually, and Laudna has always had a tenant in her head, basically, or in her body, and so it's hard for her to make room for the gods. So they all need to help. They need all the help they can get, but how much power does Delilah have outside of Laudna? So Imogen prayed to Delilah like a god when Laudna died. She kind of reveals this and says, Delilah was useless. None of the gods called to Laudna. She suspects the matron of ravens wouldn't look too kindly on her. so they playfully call out to the Moonweaver for insight, but they don't get any response there. They return to the others, and then the night continues. Laudna hears Delilah's voice again, telling her no matter what and no matter who she prays to, it will always be Delilah's, which was really interesting. So break there or keep going?
No, we can keep going.
All right. Yeah, because this is also interesting to me because now we've got talking swords in this.
Yes.
So there's also these talking voices now, right?
Damn Travis.
So to punctuate a joke, Chetney pulls out his sword, Grashjar, and the blade speaks to him, warning Chetney that he is being duped by Keyleth and claiming that she is responsible for degrading society via the Council. The Council. Just a moment.
Council.
The Council of Taldore. Chetney has to be careful not to listen to her lies, and Chetney thanks him for the heads up. So interesting that it's kind of poking and prodding a little bit to see who will turn on Keyleth. Bell's Hells have a slumber party at Orem's house. Fern scries on Dancer via the drunken ribbon dancing. Sees Dancer stumbling along in an alley on cobblestones with two automatons and headless bat and another spherical tripod type thing. And she throws up into glowing water, which indicates that she is on Eos. So now they kind of have a bearing of where Dancer is. So they're now interested in seeing Dancer since they know where Dancer is. So in the morning, they visit Keyleth, who's much better now, and encourages him not to rush and prioritizing the information first. And she also suggests that the group do a scouting mission to Ruidus to see what they're dealing with on the moon, and Keyleth can gather allies, but they need to know what's waiting for them up there.
Right.
So Fern asks for and receives a bit of the poultice, I'm not even going to say it, when Chetney grills Keyleth about the Council of Taldore, egged on by the sword. So let's head over to the chat. I think we have some people in the chat.
Yes.
So have,
Drew joined us.
yes, let me make sure I've got that. Good to see you, Drew. Excellent. Good to see you in the chat. Let's see. All the others in this geeky wish. I hope the night is going well for all. Yes, exactly. Hope your night is going well too. Good to see you in the chat. Yeah. So thoughts on all this stuff that's going on?
Oh my God, with this stupid sword.
Well, first let's get to the sword, but let's talk about the Delilah thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, we knew she was there. She wasn't gone, especially after that whole last showdown and Laudna killed Bordor. She felt something release. She lost herself. We knew Delilah was coming back. And it is kind of interesting that when Laudna tried to reach out to her, she didn't respond, and she responded in her own time versus, Laudna's beck and call, so to speak. But this lady thing, whatever, Tuma.
It's not a Tuma. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting to me. Like we knew she was there, but like she used to more, speak to her more frequently. Like, right. Is it that she's diminished or she's biding her time? Like, what's going on? It's really like,
yeah, I think she's diminished a little bit, but I also think the group's outlook on her has changed. Now they want to like weaponize her versus, get rid of her in a lot of ways. They saw how hard it was to do what they did, to cage her how they caged her. And then now they're hoping that maybe, she actually can lend some power to the fight. But she's not good. She's not a good person. She's not a good thing. She's not a good being. So, and who knows where she falls in the realm of like what she wants to happen, She might be wanting the same stuff to happen.
Maybe so. I don't know. It's all very interesting, especially like how much it's going to wrap up back to campaign 1.
Yeah.
with you know the anyway the whispered one and all that kind
Right.
of stuff. Well,
Yeah.
then we've got, speaking of whispers, then we've got Chetney's sword talking to him, and really, I love. I mean, I don't know, it's overstated, but I love how Matt switches into the sword voice and goes full on sword personality. It's just perfect, like for the way that's all playing out. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Anyway,
Well, yet again, Travis has a cursed sword
hmm
or an evil
yeah,
sentient sword. How they keep finding him. I think Matt
it's
puts them in the
perfect.
game just for him.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's great.
Whatever. Now he's got this thing whispering in his mind that Keyleth is horrible and to kill everyone and take advantage.
How's that different from what's going on with Logna?
Delilah's not telling her to kill everyone.
Well, true, but
I don't like
whispering in her
Delilah
ear.
either.
Yeah, I know. I don't like her either, but it's still interesting. It makes for a good story. So I don't know. Anyway, and then they find Dancer, right? Like they figure out
Yes.
where Dancer is. So
She's an
that,
Eos.
yeah. All right. Well,
And drunk herself, so
I mean, it seems like they're all synced up. They're all kind of thinking the same thing as they are going forward. So let's see. Um, Lieutenant, talking swords, Keyleth in tow. So Keyleth could accompany them to the next generation, so she can send them through a tree and then go on her journey. But she's excited to take on the disguise and travel again. She's, an old adventurer, so she's ready to do that again. They figure out like whether they're going to go to Dancer or D to figure out. I mean, that's a whole thing back and forth. But they end up going to, or settle on going to see Dancer. And because Keyleth can also regrow limbs, they could offer healing as sort of to sweeten the deal and hopefully get Dancer to help. So FCG uses the staff to teleport them to Eos, and the travel's kind of rough. First time Keyleth has seen Ruidus locked in the sky, and also the bridge between the moon and Marquette. So, yeah, the others notice that Chetney is on edge around Keyleth, basically because of that sword, telling him to kill her. And Fern leads them to the Endeavor Ring, and FCG casts Locate Creature, taking them to a hostel where Dancer is staying. So, here we are. So, Dance of Dancer. Imogen and FCG go upstairs, finding the Dancer's room. They Dancer and Imogen flirt until they open the door, and then Imogen casts Calm Emotions on her. She and FCG talk. They're still a little tense. FCG explains that needs help to fix something, and then Dancer basically has no desire to have her arm healed and needs FCG to fix her. She doesn't want that. She says that FCG is the only one that's still hanging on to all this stuff, and she wants to help if she can, but FCG has to kind of move on at this point. FCG is like, okay, well, let's treat it as a job. They'll pay for her to fix something very old, and then FCG will just leave. And she introduces her new contraption, Pussy the Second and Cookie.
the second.
And yeah, and then heads to meet the others. Dancer examines the harness and confesses that it's beyond her, but she thinks they can return to Bassaris and get Emma or Joe's help, and the two of them could probably tackle it. So Keyleth has been to Bassaris and can help them get there by tree. So let's head to the chat.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, what do you up till this point, right? Like they've been sort of talking about seeing Dancer and all that stuff, and then they finally make their way there. So
oh my gosh, I'm so glad they finally made a decision. All that back and forth with FCG and the Changebringer trying to get like any clue what D they need to go see. Thankfully, they finally went to Dancer, and it seems like it was the right choice.
Yeah.
She might not be able to do what they need her to do, but she knows somebody who she thinks can, which is great. So, um, but she's got a hangover because she was drinking the whole night before. Then she freaks out because she sees FCG, and FCG is so sorry and going on, and she's just like, "Shut up." I'm done with this. It's the past. You need to move on. We don't know each other, pretty much going forward. And so now it's pretty much like they've just commissioned her to work on the harness and to figure out how to get everything going. So
Yeah,
I think
and
it's going to be a good exchange.
yeah, I think so. Like I feel as if like it's, right up their alley of like trying to making this update like it making the update to the machine, but also doing it through a way that kind of gets FCG to move forward a little bit. I think is
Right.
a good way to put a button in that, so, or put a pin in that. So to speak.
Well, now we're off to Bassaris. So
Yeah,
fun times.
I mean, let's head this way, shall we? I don't know. You know what I'm thinking too is we may, just because I think we may cover, and just for everybody watching, we may cover just this episode today, and maybe we can launch into episode 70 in our next one.
Okay.
And maybe go live tomorrow with it. Let's go through. All right, so Keyleth and Toe, Dancer, Gargo. Okay, so they head to the Edelman Seminary in search of a tree, only to be dive bombed once more by Shithead. The Revenant, and it is Revenant. Revenant bird. Remember, I was like, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
That shit's on FCG. And Fern casts Speak with Animals, learning that Shithead's name is Gargo. And that his master is gone, and he has no other purpose. And FCG casts Destroy Undead, which finally gets rid of Shithead. And FCG treats this as a sign that he can now finally begin to move on. And Keyleth has missed this whole level of chaos. She's like, it's time for us to move to go into the seminary, find a tree. And everybody is sent over to Bassaris. Yeah, the funniest part, right, was all of this. Thanks for and Zach, thanks for jumping in. We'll jump over there in just a second. So let's, yeah, it was the funniest, and I appreciate you reached out to me and said, hey, did you catch this? And we didn't until after the fact, but I'm glad that you gave us a heads up that there was something coming in, because yeah, I loved that they had the recurrence of that bird. So so I think maybe for today, I know it'll be a short one today. It's been a lot of these going back and forth for me, so maybe we can just end on this episode and then pick up tomorrow with the next one. Is that okay for you?
Yeah. We just have open house. Let's not forget about that. But then otherwise, I think we'll be home in time.
I think we'll be home in time. We'll send out one, and not to just because I think these are both going to be probably about the same length, but I just want to make sure that I got it all together, because even after Danny Carr's recaps and going through it, I might have to go back and rewatch a few things from that, because again, we were sort of in the middle of a lot of stuff last week. So
we evacuated. We can be back. Yeah. It's just been a lot.
Fine, but it's been a crazy week. So, but this is good. I think it'll give us a good break. We try to do one of these, and we'll just have 2 this week instead of one long one, to make sure. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. The one thing I will say that I thought was really interesting is that I can't remember another time where we've had another character from another campaign traveling with the group, right? Like, I don't think we've done this. Like, this is like a lot of times they would go and they would see them. Like, they went to go visit with Keyleth before, or
she took them to Whitestone. It's just been her though. She's the only one that's ever traveled with
Yeah,
them. You know, she bamped them to
yeah,
Whitestone earlier in the season.
yeah. But that was someone opened up the tree. As she was there, they went to her, and then Caleb and Bo were in the same area during the whole solstice thing. But this is the first time that like had an NPC that was a former character like traveling with them that I can remember.
Yeah, it's
Maybe I'm wrong,
cool.
but is and someone another person just coming back a few episodes ago. Someone else mentioned that we may have been the first ones to. I'm sure other people caught it, but that caught the whole Chetney having the bag of holding, even though they were going inside the
Yeah.
hole. They haven't said anything about that yet that I can think of. So someone else, maybe they're just kind of like hand waving. We'll just forget about that, and that's completely fine. I know I've done that with games before, but it just seems weird that no one has brought that up yet. So
Yeah, it
somebody
does.
should say
I
something.
mean,
Yeah,
something should have went kablooey.
yeah. You would think that it would have
Unless they
reopened some
just
type of
like
thing.
silently retconned back to
Yeah,
like he gave the bag of holding to what it was
yeah,
well Imogen that was not in the hole.
yeah. And again, completely fine. But it'd be cool if someone would have said something.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, yeah, I think. Sorry, everybody. I think we're just going to do 2 episodes this time, and we'll break this into
One
two.
episode.
But we'll catch up. Sorry. What?
Nothing. Nothing. You said we're going to do 2 episodes this time.
No, no. I mean, like, sorry. We're going to split this into two, and we'll do 2 episodes this week instead of one recap containing 2 Critical Role episodes, 2 of our episodes. I'm just going to stop talking. Everybody, have a great night. We will catch you next time. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.